Hi, and welcome to this tutorial. Today we will look at the IELTS speaking band descriptors and identify their meaning. The public version of IELTS speaking band descriptors looks like this and is available online. I've also put it on my blog, the link to which you can find below this video. Most of you, I suppose, need a range of scores from 6 to 8. That's why in this tutorial we are going to compare the three bands, and I'm going to explain what each of these given phrases mean. Your final band is comprised of 4 criteria: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. Let's start with lexical resource. In order to move from band 6 to band 7, or even 8, you should demonstrate a wide range of vocabulary. Look at phrases in blue. For band 8, you should use a wide vocabulary resource readily and flexibly to convey precise meaning. For 7, you should use a wide vocabulary resource flexibly to discuss a variety of topics. For both bands, you need to use the vocabulary resource flexibly, meaning that you need to demonstrate knowledge of a wide range of words and phrases and their synonyms. However, for band 8, you should not only demonstrate your knowledge of these words and phrases, but also use them readily, that is fast and easily, without thinking too much. For band 6, you don't speak flexibly and readily, but your vocabulary is enough to discuss the topic you are given. There are some inaccuracies present, but your meaning is still clear. Let's look at the phrases in red. So, you use less common and idiomatic vocabulary skillfully with occasional inaccuracies. That's for band 8. For band 7, you use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary and show some awareness of style and collocation with some inappropriate choices. Inappropriate choices in band 7 and inaccuracies in band 8 mean the same thing. There are errors involving words in English which are often confused. I think what makes you move up from band 7 to band 8 is the extent to which you are fluent and skillful in using these idiomatic phrases. In band 8, you use idiomatic vocabulary skillfully. In band 7, you use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary and show some awareness of style and collocation. So you use them, but not as skillfully and fluently as required for band 8. Some examples of inaccuracies could be something like a fair weather friend, which is an idiom meaning an unreliable friend, someone you cannot rely on if you're in trouble. Now, if you say a good weather friend, your meaning is still clear, but the idiom is not correct. Another common example of inaccuracy could be desert versus dessert, or an inaccurate use of prepositions, such as interested in. This is the correct one. So if you say interested about, that could be an example of inaccuracy. So these are inaccuracies in language use, but the meaning of the sentence is still clear. Obviously, if you make 1-2 inaccurate uses of vocabulary, you can still get an 8. The more inaccurate choices you make, the less chances you have to get band 8. As you see, for band 6, you don't need to use any idiomatic phrases. So consider enriching your vocabulary with idiomatic phrases only if you're aiming for bands 7 or 8. Look at the phrases in green. For bands 7 and 8, you should be able to paraphrase effectively. That is, be able to say the same things using different words. For example, instead of using I like many times, you paraphrase it with I fancy, I'm interested in, I'm keen on, etc. For band 6, it says generally paraphrases effectively. So it's fine for this band if occasionally you fail to paraphrase effectively. But occasionally is the key word here. It's still bad if you say, I like all the time. You should still paraphrase most of the time. Okay, that's all with the lexical resource. Let's look at the grammatical range and accuracy. Let's discuss the phrases in blue first. For band 8, you need to use a wide range of structures flexibly. Any kind of structures, simple or complex. You don't pause often in search of the structure that you need. You use them flexibly and easily without giving them too much thought. For band 7, you need to use structures with some flexibility. You're not as fluent and flexible as you would be for band 8, but make sure you demonstrate a wide range of complex structures. Actually, the more complex structures you use, the better it is for your grade. In the speaking section of my blog, you can find a list of recommended complex structures, both for vocabulary and grammar. For band 6, you use a mix of simple and complex structures, but with limited flexibility. Usually, candidates for band 6 prefer to use simple structures because they're not used to complex structures and try to avoid them. If this is true for you, but you need to get band 7, I recommend using these phrases I posted in my blog. They are universal and can be used for any topic. Now look at the phrases in red. For band 8, you should produce a majority of error-free sentences with only very occasional inappropriacies or basic non-systematic errors. Mostly, you should produce correct error-free sentences. However, if you make 1-2 non-systematic mistakes, you still get 8. Non-systematic is the key word here. For example, if you keep saying he like instead of he likes, then the examiner will mark it as a systematic error and you will not get an 8. For band 7, you should frequently produce error-free sentences, though some grammatical mistakes persist. You still produce error-free sentences, but you make some regular grammatical mistakes. Just like in the previous example, if you say he like all the time, it means that this grammatical mistake persists. For band 6, you may make frequent mistakes with complex structures, though this rarely causes comprehension problems. It is still very clear what you say, but still you make many mistakes which show that you are not a proficient language user. Now, let's move on to fluency and coherence. Look at the phrases in blue. For band 8, you should speak fluently with only rare repetition or self-correction. I hope you've noticed that fluency is the word for all the aspects of band 8. Some hesitation is okay for band 8, but it's content related, not because you've forgotten a word or a grammatical structure. Content-related hesitation is that what we as native speakers often do. For example, I go shopping with my friend, she tries a dress on and she asks for my opinion. And I say, well, I think it looks really nice on you, but I think the other dress was better. See the difference? I paused several times in this sentence, but not because I'd forgotten a word, but because I was trying to put my opinion in a more polite way. So this hesitation was content related. It was justified by the context. For band 7, you should speak at length. That is, give quite a long answer without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. You may demonstrate language-related hesitation, for example. You've forgotten a word, or you need time to think how to phrase a grammatical structure correctly. Some repetition and self-correction is also possible. For band 6, you are doing your best to speak at length. This is, give quite a long answer without pauses and words like hmm, and so on. But occasionally you lose coherence because you repeat yourself, correct yourself, or hesitate. Now look at the phrases in red. For band 8, you need to speak coherently with full appropriate cohesive features. Speaking coherently means logically connecting your thoughts with each other. In order to logically connect your ideas, you need to use cohesive features. That is, linking words, such as on one hand, on the other hand, moreover, furthermore, however, etc. Again, all these recommended phrases are available in the speaking section of my blog. For band 7, you still use the same type of linking words in order to connect your ideas logically, but you do it with some flexibility. So band 7 candidates use linking words less confidently than band 8 candidates. For band 6, candidates still use the same linking words, but not always appropriately. So sometimes you use them incorrectly. For example, you may confuse however and furthermore. There is only one phrase in green for band 8. So for band 8, apart from using linking words effectively, you should also be able to develop the topics fully and appropriately. It is not enough just to express your opinion on the topic. You should also give examples and arguments to support your opinion. In the speaking section of my blog, you can find a template for effective development of your ideas in the second task of the speaking test. Finally, let's look at pronunciation. It is a common misconception about marking the pronunciation at the test is that you should sound like a native speaker if you want to get anything above band 6. This is untrue. First of all, who are these native speakers you should imitate? British, Americans, Australians, Indians? They're all native speakers, and they all have different accents. So don't worry about sounding like a native speaker, but be careful about intelligibility of your speech. It's okay not to sound like a native speaker, but it's not okay if you mispronounce some words. And because of it, the examiner cannot understand what you are saying. If mispronunciation of individual words or sounds reduces clarity of your speech, you will not get anything above 6. If you want to get 7 or 8, your speech must be intelligible, that is, clear with the correct pronunciation of words and sounds. For example, if you say something like, spaghetti is my favorite food, this is going to interfere with intelligibility because food and food are different things, as demonstrated in the picture.